But as long as there were only like one or two of them at a time, I could sort of manage. And I had the same issues with, often with church people, because having an unmedicated schizophrenic in the back of the church is not a strategy for seeker-sensitive ministry.
Clip that.
Yeah, there you go, Chris. You can clip that. Having an unmedicated schizophrenic in the back of the church is not a strategy for seeker-sensitive ministry.
Clip that.
Someone will walk in the church. I remember. So then we had when someone would knock on my door and want to talk for 2 hours. My schedule could handle it. So I talked for 2 hours. So actually, I've listened for 2 hours. And that was, in many ways, all the internet randos are just, basically get what all the homeless randos used to get.
We're the new homeless.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's true.
I taught you how to clip, right?
So,
you do a clip mail for me. You can, make a clip and then tweet it and then add Pastor Paul to say clip mail.
Hey, Pastor Paul. Are you saying we should LARP as adults with,
civic, human, responsible duties? Why to do it again? That's really what we're trying to do. And give and act like fully mature men for the benefit of everyone. For the benefit of everyone, you said. Is that part? LARP like grown men for the benefit of everyone?
Is that what you're recommending people do on the other side of the LARP gate, Pastor Paul?
My question to you. Sir, from this side of the LARP gate, where
basically get what all the homeless randos used to get.
We're the new homeless.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, so that's and it's lamentable because I
Quite the masterpiece indeed. You guys, it was inappropriate for me to give you a savings throw against that. I'm complicit. I'm complicit in the mind control. The full effects without a savings throw. You were just subjected to. However, you will be getting new fancy savings throws against mind control on this Monday, March 11th, on the Beauty, Good, and Truth stream. Free will framing. It's look at that. If you're a member of the channel, you can make fancy emoji bubbles that look like bubbles in chat, but look like colons with underscores. Thanks to StreamYards. Okay, but some emojis do work in StreamYards. I don't know which ones do and which ones don't, but Neil seems to be up on it. Here's the full list for members. I think of all the emojis you can make, just take the underscores out. Just remove the underscores. Consider Phlebas. Have you guys fetched me? No. Okay, I'm gonna side rail already before the savings throws. Thanks, Weeks. You see, over on the Discord here, there's this section called the scavenger. Stop it right now. Called the scavenger bounty board. And I'm going to put Phlebas's appearance. Wait, I'm not showing you. Hold on, let me show you. No, wrong button. There it is. I'm putting This is over on the left here. Look, hold on. This. You see, he does it like an amateur, so everybody knows that if somebody really tried to do really good, that they could. I make it look easy. Anyway, I go over here and I say Phlebas's appearance on Christian Golden's what's his Apologius stream. And now that's in the scavenger bounty board, and if somebody goes and scavenges up that clip, they will get one of these fancy 7 indigo dies, which will one day be a cryptocurrency, yada, 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 yada. And then we can celebrate Phlebas' birthday. Until then, I'm just going to do the regular stream. Thank you, CW Weeks. Where is he at? He's in here somewhere. Ducks don't have fur.
Ducks eat bread.
They do. They like it.
They like it.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny.
No, Nanny, we got to start over now. Here's this one.
How this could be used to allow people to connect and get past the status game. So I'm just gonna play with this right now, which is weird. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. It could be your CEO. It could be your boss. Right? So that would be cool, in my opinion. That would be very cool.
Gavin is the Matthew McConaughey of this little corner. Hey, Dustin, I see you there. Hold on, I'm running a branding. See, all right, there we go. Savings throws for this special stream. It's a special stream because, like, Paul called me a genius on the Friday morning Q&A, and by the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy, I have to do reciprocal attention to it. And I've still got stuff from the summit to talk about, and Remember, Embody.
There is no agency. We want
what's best. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. All right, here it is. Then the beauty, good truth, saving throws of the stream against the mind control. You see, you're swimming in mind control. We're going to go over some of it today as part of our defense against the dark arts initiative, unless I forget to do it before the stream ends. And then, but more. So you get a savings throw against the mind control you're constantly swimming in, and I'm intentionally going to subject you to. But you can participate by choosing survival, social, wisdom, or heart. And then I roll the dice, and if the one you picked is over 10, you take half of the damage from the mind control that follows in the rest of the show and the rest of your day. If it's under 10, you take full damage, but at least you know you're taking damage. A lot of times you take the mind control and don't even know it's happening. You know what I mean? Survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose. Oh, survivalist, not so hot today. Just a trinity for you. That's a 3 for the survivalist. Prime 19 for the socialist. Let's get together. We'll be all right. Wisdom, folks. Got some bad news for you, kids. No bonuses. You get +2 for chatting in the hive mind, but those don't work when it's a nat 1. The wisdom guy is going to get... We've had a situation where a lot of the times one of the die will be the same number as the other die, and today, boys and girls, it's a very special result on the Beauty, Good, and Truth stream. Heart gets a nat 20. That means even +3 on tomorrow's stream. And also Indigo pairing up with the nat 20, so you can see that you get to, I only show this die when it's a nat 20 or a nat 1, and now today you get to see it, because beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. All right, wow, what savings throws we have today, eh?
So say we all. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ho, ho, ho.
How about some of this? LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. That was a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his style.
Are you sick and tired of being asked about the TLC? When you look at this corner, do you not even think that it's a thing? Well, if you're like me, raise your hand. Because I got what you need. You need Telos tea. That's right. Grab yourself a nice hot cup of Telos tea. Not Telos tea. It's not a thing.
The truth is there is so much peak kayfabe going on right now, and it is good, and it is beautiful. Much like the handsome fellow, right? Oh, you didn't make me a timestamp, Bart. You just put, you typed the timestamp, so I had to find it myself when I got here.
I definitely wasn't interested in
152 is the appearance. Now, as I understand it, It is today the birthday of the man on the bottom right. Let's see, one of the rare appearances. Now, of course, Bart's going to get a +7 indigo die over here on the Discord. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your efforts. And then now I gotta find the tab again. There it is.
Hold that thought for a second, Matthew. I want to let Phoebus, if he wants to speak up, say something. Thank you for joining.
Just give me a minute. I'm troubleshooting. I just got my sound.
Well, what I would say is I usually push back when people go back and say, here's the moment in time in history. I'm more of I've come around more on a cyclical kind of, this is just a organic thing. Things percolate, grow, blossom, and then they kind of fade, die, and decay. And then there's a rebirth as I'm a Christian. That's kind of the way I look at it. But here's my point with that is, I totally agree with Jonathan Peugeot. And I think I agree further, just to put cards on the table. I think there's a lot more Protestant Enlightenment propaganda bashing the Catholic Church, bashing medieval times, bashing universal history.
Oh, for sake, Parlato. Phoebus is making his first, one of his rare appearances, and
I think
there's a said
is again to that was you. I don't want the advertising.
Anyway, fucking
that's all.
Happy birthday, Phoebus. That's enough of that.
Brandon, marked with a coward shame. What do you do when you're branded? Will you fight for your name?
All right. So we got this. Wait till you have 3. All right. What are we doing today on the stream, Graham? Well, you see, we're running branding a lot. We're
I'm not a cat.
Remember it. There is no agency. We want
Did Jesus deconstruct death? Are there demons among and within us? That's what the Pastor Paul ended up titling the Q&A live stream from the Bridges of Meaning this last Friday, in which he says such wonderful things as this at 33 minutes or so.
I'm attacking the darkness.
What? You got no audio on that? Oh, that's terrible. The whole show's. What have they done? Have they broken things? Here, let me try again. That's catastrophic. That's catastrophic. Let's see. All right, let me know if you can hear this now. Could you hear it that time? Let us know while this branding plays. This is a message for Pastor Paul Vanderclay. I saw you had on your show this morning, the horrible things that man said about the kayfabe. And I just want you to know that I'm going to destroy you in the April Fool's Conversation cage match. But I have the share tab audio clicked. I don't. What about on this one? Can you hear the Phlebas one?
Our culture has to offer.
Yeah.
And so I was just saying, I don't necessarily love the whole, if we could just go back to when the Telegram or the like, I think that's the Jonathan Peugeot thing. Is every switch of
Okay,
every
so you
movement
can
of
hear
technology.
Parlato, but you can't hear this one. So that you cannot hear. What the heck is going on here? Let me see if we can rectify that.
Bing, bing, boom, boom, boom.
All right. You see, this is the tab you could not hear. This is the new tab loaded. Can you hear it now?
People like Grizz, the minute he starts heading up a hierarchy, something, whether he does or something.
That can you hear? Can you hear that? One more time. There we go.
Around him, we'll pull him down.
This you can hear. All right. Now welcome, everybody. The thing about a live stream is that they happen live, and this is the Beauty, Good, and Truth live stream, brought to you on the Grimgris channel, where I make the virtually not alone feels for people in the Hive Mind chat, and we think together, blah, 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 blah. We're doing so much. So much is going on here, including a card pull from occasion, this one from the casino deck. And the card for this show is the four hearts. I don't know. The song that popped in my head was two of hearts, but it was a four, so I don't even know what to do with that. Here, let's do this part, shall we? Now, let's see. We have in the notes on the notes cards 37 minutes. We'll see what he was saying then.
And then I'm in my 20s or late teens, early 20s. She says to me, you know, inside, I feel like I felt when I was your age. And when I look in the mirror, I wonder, where did this old woman come from? And of course, as someone who was young, I heard that, just kind of thought, it's interesting, and went along with my life. I was distracted and busy and full of all the kinds of things that kept my attention then. Of course, the older I got, the more I realized what she was saying. Oh, that thorn in your paw, T-Grog. That thorn in... Here's the thing about T-Grog. You got to go to Luke's channel when he comes on the stream, because like me, he's a troll in the comments.
This part is, that's why I made that timestamp. It's a part of what's going on here is, okay, those of you who are familiar know that that the ideal in these in this conceptual 3-stage process product, where you take a stream and then you cut off the useless stuff and make the Briss edition and release it as a video, and if it's a worthy video, from the Briss edition you go back in and interlace things, reaped clips, you loom in to the as you make a kintsugi cut of that thing. And since myself and the stream and what we're doing is so mentioned in this particular stream of Pastor Paul's, I believe it is worthy of a kintsugi cut. And as such, I made this timestamp so I could tell and point out to you that what he did actually was what he sampled the behavior for all of you to follow in today's release of a separate video, which we're about to go into. But let's go after. Let's play that bit one more time, Grim. Okay.
What she was saying. Oh, that thorn in your paw, T-Grog. That thorn in... Here's the thing about T-Grog. You got to go to Luke's channel when he comes on the stream, because like me, he's a troll in the comments, but you get him into a conversation. He's a really sweet guy. I really like T-Grog.
Pastor Paul did us the solid of going to the trouble of doing that, which is in another audio. Let's see if you can hear this one. It's from today's release. This little corner is YouTube small and slow for fellowship, wisdom, friendship, and giving.
Sometimes it's a severe mercy.
Oh, wait, I was listening to it fast. And
in the book or in the brain.
Well, and LARPing works. Like, that's whole Jordan Peterson's act as if. Like, one of the things I always struggled with a bit, and I still struggle with it, would be someone comes to a church service, somehow they think they've come to believe they've made this decision, and then right away you're baptized in that service and you're getting all this stuff or whatever. Like belief comes after action, and like I said, it's a lot of times that you'll see in 12-step programs, many people will be asked to do things that they have no idea why they're being asked to do them. But they start doing them, and then I'm just going to tell you, these amazing things happen. So there's this real practical thing you hear in 12-step programs, which when people are first starting out, they'll say something like, well, maybe they've never even, or maybe they're secular, never been around it, or they've been in church, whatever. And how do you pray?
Welcome. This is a live stream, some of which will be cut out for the Briss edition. It turns out that part of that video from today's Pastor Paul, I had earmarked because of the LARPing and LARPgate references, and is not the appearance of T-Grog I was trying to show you mere moments ago.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room?
I want to cast Magic Missile. A room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet.
I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile.
Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here.
I'm attacking the darkness.
All right, so then you find the actual T-Grog appearance, which is mere moments from then.
I do want to point out is shoes under some actual practice would be
There
very
he is.
valuable. Some people who know a lot of theology.
There he is. There he is. Look, we caught it right there where it's starting to swirl. Where the where the blood black nothingness is starting to swirl. Brought to you by Pale Fire, a book that was sent to me. It's great. It's great. He wrote poems on index cards. Now, now we have. Oh, look! It's the 33rd minute of this. Is this the one you can hear? This is the one you can't hear, isn't it? That's the one you can't hear, where it says, "Do you feel if you could perform an exorcism?" Right? This is the one you can hear that I'm trying to play. All right, all right, all right. Stop it, stop it. Share that one, and then close this one so you don't open it ever again. Right?
Oh, that thorn in your paw, T-Grog. That thorn in... Here's the thing about T-Grog. You got to go to Luke's channel when he comes on the stream, because like me, he's a troll in the comments, but you get him into a conversation. He's a really sweet guy. I really like T-Grog. And I wouldn't have
Putting your shoes under your bed would be very valuable for you. I'm serious. Like, you need to learn how to do some actual practice.
Let's first look at that reaction to the appearance on the live stream by our favorite friends, Luke and T-Stripes.
Spiritual life too, that actually starts producing results, and then you can morph out to starting to read C.S. Lewis, and then you're, or whatever. The one thing I also do want to point out is I say some of these simple things, and by the way, some people who know a lot of theology, putting your shoes under your bed would be very valuable for you. I'm serious. Like, you need to learn how to do some actual practices. But depending on where someone comes in, the student will appear. If someone's like with Luke.
Depending on where someone comes in, the student will appear.
Ducks eat bread.
They do. They like it.
This and all of our participations is brought to you by the Shadow Cabal of production executives. People like you who make this possible.
Now what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime?
I listen to him. I think he is telling us the truth. That is indeed what he wants. Those of you who are sort of sniffing for duplicity or grift or dishonesty, I don't smell any of that here. I think he's.
Luke shows up. He spent 20 years studying all this stuff. You don't have to take him back to 101. You got to meet him where he's at, to have certain conversations.
We all have to be, that's that canonic self-emptying, man. You always got to meet people where they're at, or else you're not going to communicate with them.
So, if you don't have a daily... Oh, wait, who's that guy? Who's that guy stomping on T-Grog's opening appearance? Practice. You can roll a savings throw against one by choosing survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for your savings throw. If it's over 10, you take half damage. Under 10, you take full damage from the mind control that follows. And apparently there's T-Grog brand mind control coming. So choose wisely. Survival, social. I just want it is. It's T-Grog brand mind control. Turns out on that roll, Heart gets an ace. But you got the 20s today. Let's see. Now let's see if I can find that spot where he's telling his story that's so adorable.
This is the truth, and this is important, and you have to know the truth. It's very important. So I would say the Bible constantly, read church history, but I was reading evangelicalism, a lot of evangelical stuff, evangelical, and I decided to read non-evangelical stuff, right?
Uh-oh.
And actually, I found that modern biblical scholarship actually was more true to the Bible, right? It was more honest about, like Yahweh and Elohim and these other demigods and angelology and all that stuff. It was more honest about that stuff and more true to the actual Bible than evangelicalism, or I didn't know that much about Catholicism, but I've learned a lot more about it recently, and I know a little bit about Orthodoxy, but not a lot. But reading the Bible diligently, and just kind of thinking, well, what is going? I mean, is this just a mind game I'm playing with myself here? That I believe in Jesus's propitiation for my sins, and
Brought to you by Propecia, Pfizer's new product for lady balding. That's totally not the spot. I was supposed to go about, he talks about his wife, and that's the hard thing. But the point is that this video, the stream, the Q&A answer, it's like Pastor Paul was all bottled up from doing randos conversations. And when the Q&A thing, it just all spilled out so beautifully. And, and somewhere in the Kintsugi cut, we can put in, he even goes into Saul's appearance. And truthfully, I think we need T-Grog and Saul and me, moderated by me, the T-Grog and Saul. That should be the April Fool's conversation cage match. That should be the headline, right, of the conversation cage match. Saul Goodman, or not, and T-Grog in the ring. What do you think?
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Daddy.
Now back to going through this thing for when he says Grimgris.
Liked him if he hadn't come onto the live streams, and that's sort of the power of these live streams in the video. Anyway, I digress. You can use this argument as a dismissive, as something, basically as a dismissal of eternal life. But inside of all of us, we have a sense of eternity. But that is inside of the age of decay. And so one way to think about almost any conversation.
As a side note, over on the X platform today, I said a thing that sort of referenced Hotel California, and in the replies, a fella said, when I was 10, I thought this would be my favorite song forever, and that was a real poignant note of how the Groggler. Why did you say? Welcome. This is the live stream on the Grimgris channel called the Free Will Framing Beauty, Good, and Truth. And because when he was a kid, he thought it would be his favorite forever. It was a callback to eternity in our hearts.
That we've been having forever is the relationship between those two worlds, and you can find it described many different times. One of my favorites is in the book of Ecclesiastes. Depending on, you can play around with just about any verse, but he has placed eternity in our hearts. So it's the reason death fascinates us, because when you go to the casket of a loved one.
Oh, this is great. And why this is the note card for today's show, by the way. This is why the note says casket character cards, but let him do it. Okay.
And you look at now this embalmed body in the Dominican Republic. They didn't do embalming. They had to get him in the ground in 24 hours. So you do the funeral right away. And I remember one pastor who died, the body was already starting to bloat. Chris. The body was already starting to bloat. They put an iron because it's not an electric iron, it's a real iron that they put in the fire. Then it's heavy as they put it on.
We got some important things happening in the hive mind. I need to pull the stream aside and address Avril Pilotson. Says the cage match is gonna need a promotional poster. Now, I don't know if I let it play the part where Pastor Paul says, I saw this guy in the casket. Did you just find it? But the important part is, well, what we have going on here is sort of participatory television. It's the cast of Friends is your friends that bother to come on live streams and have an opinion. Those are the T-Grogs and the Fleebuses and the T-Stripes, etc., etc. Now, once upon a time, not long ago, over here on the Discord, we explored the notion of character cards. Frankly, what happened is Upcycle nailed it so hard. Share the stream bigger, make it bigger. He did such a great job on the first batch of character cards. Everybody else was intimidated in making any more. You see, this is probably the best of the set. Look at that. I don't know how he made the AI spit out Richard Rowland, but I was thinking that what we can do as we're advancing and continuing on, we could do perhaps another batch of character cards now with such as T-Grob and Fleebus. And because the LARPgate reasons, it's too much to go into right now. I'm doing a lot over here. And but that's why all of that said that. And now back to what you were doing. What? Yes, just go.
But when you look in that casket, I looked in the casket at my father. I looked in the casket at my sister. I will likely look in the casket at my mother. My children will look in the casket at me. And now we have all these photographs. And now I have like these little electronic picture things, and they cycle through. And I scanned pictures from my father. He loved to take pictures. I scanned older pictures. And so I see my father with myself and my two sisters when we're little. And he's young and vibrant, head full of black hair, wearing a clerical collar. And so we wonder about this. Now, almost forever, one would say, well, the upper is spirit and the lower is matter. The upper is timeless, eternal. The lower is temporal and subject to the age of decay. So, on that sense, we have a sense of spirit. But we also have, if you just follow the use of the word in our language, that's why I use school spirit, because no one will deny the reality of school spirit. We all...
Maybe we're not. Okay. Where are we at on? Is there any confusion? What you all think?
Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead.
The desert bodies souls of the Nephilim who were killed during the flood that gave into human bodies when angels had sex rituals with humans in the antediluvian world, who are now trying to distract human beings from God and seek their own destruction so that humans don't ever get elevated above angels in the age to come. Isn't that complicated?
Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead.
So then, of course, there is a level line. The difference between God and us is God always says exactly what he means, or he never can.
Let's use Grim Grizz's channel. what is the telos of Grim Grizz's channel? Now, there's a variety of them. One of them is to break the fourth wall. One of them is to exorcise the spirit of Set. One of them is to what is the telos of Grim Grizz's channel? Now, there's a variety of them. One of them is to break the fourth wall.
Approaches are, that's where the alignment is between Grim and I.
Okay, so what is bringing down the fourth wall project, Grim?
A terrible spell. And part of that spell, humans have a campfire circuitry. For whatever reason, probably because it. So, like, the television engages that. And, like, that's when your tribal elders are passing on information and stuff. So, like, those things are hijacked and make everybody feel like they're audience. And, like, if you watch characters in series that do break the fourth wall, and that's what the fourth wall I'm referencing when I do it. It's the wall behind which you are audience and not a human. So.
Okay.
Hashtag paintball for Jesus, at Grim Grizz, hashtag break the fourth wall.
So like you do like break the fourth wall that doesn't exist and be like,
break the fourth wall a little bit.
You really helped me break the fourth wall. Like, it's just people.
Good poetry is definitely always trying to break the fourth wall.
Always tried, as Grim Grizz says, to break the fourth wall to the degree that I can. One of them is to exorcise the spirit of Set from his dominion that he has held over children in the West since the end of the Second World War. And what Grim Grizz did very well was, Grim Grizz is a mimetic genius. He really is. Most geniuses are not appreciated because they're a little too far out ahead and they're a little too strange. Preachers are sort of liminal characters because we know enough to see something and we're conversant enough, and so we're just always translating. So what I've done often is take Peterson, Peugeot, Vervaeke, and put it in terms that other people down below can understand. And now Grizz is in that category too, but Grizz doesn't have the status markers of hierarchy like the others have. So maybe a telos that is in Grim Grizz's channel is for Grim Grizz to ascend a hierarchy, but it's probably not going to happen.
First of all, thanks for your probability curse. That's the best. Second of all, to the extent that I intend to ascend this YouTube hierarchy is much like you level up a character, because as you grow in subscribers, it unlocks new and fancy features, such as the channel memberships you are all welcome to partake in. Now, it should be noted that on the YouTube, it's much like if you go to a strip club and the strip club owners charge the ladies a set fee to be on the stage, and they take a cut. It's much like that here on the YouTube stage, and there's a 30% cut when you join the channel membership or do a super chat. There are sliding me money under the table during the lap dance is the effective Ko-fi link at the top of the Hive Mind chat, as far as all that goes. But it's good. It's good to participate through the means that of the stage owner, so they believe that I am a successful act, and therefore promote me to a wider audience, and I can climb that hierarchy that Paul was talking about, and cursing me would not happen.
I listen to him. I think he is telling us the truth. That is indeed what he wants. Those of you who are sort of sniffing for duplicity or grift or dishonesty, I don't smell any of that here. I think he's
All right then.
It's who he is. And people like Grizz, the minute he starts heading up a hierarchy, something, whether he does or something around him, will pull him down. It's in all likelihood. Not always. Some pretty amazing people have ascended hierarchies. But hierarchies of now, it might be that 50 years from now.
This reminded me of a saying I once heard, a mimetic buzz term, perhaps, that you might need mind control against. It was the phrase ham. God doesn't choose the qualified; He qualifies the chosen.
Now, Grim Grizz people will watch his channel, sort of like people read C.S. Lewis today, The Great Divorce, and you have The Great Divorce, you have all of these references to people that Lewis was sort of talking with. People read The Great Divorce, and it's like, I really need a commentary on this. Please explain who all these people are, characters are. I understand the archetypes, but I don't know the references. It might be that 50 years from now, Grim Grizz's channel will be, after Grim is dead, the whole starving artist thing, after Grim is dead, everyone will be watching his channel and they'll say, yeah, you got to go to Wikipedia to find out who Jordan Peterson is. Papa Peterson. So anyway.
You don't have to wait until I'm dead. We can do it now. We have tools such as this little corner here, over here, made by Ryan Lewis, where we can search for things like Hephaestus and see. Now, frankly, this thing that Ryan Lewis made, it should be sold as a product to all sorts of people, because wouldn't it be great for you to drag and drop and click and whatever a group of channels and be able to search, like filter your search by the channels you've added to a list. It's a great and fabulous tool. Right now, Ryan is the list master, but he's still around, so that's nice. What? Just go.
Set and the children of Set from the people that Set is possessing. Is Set a god? See, this is the mimetic genius of Grizz, because he takes that little poem, which I don't think was original to him, but is able to use that and put it into the conversation. And
Ron has made it back. Ron says he's back to work now, so he can listen. What you missed, the notion that I think you and T-Grog should be the premier event of the conversation, April Fool's conversation cage match. You guys work that out. Sorry. Okay.
And Set colonized us in a way. Now, if Grim Grizz were to tell us I was doing some drugs, or I was driving across the lonesome prairie in North America, and Set came in and talked to me, it wouldn't have the same effect as John Vervaeke talking to Jordan Peterson about Hermes. What's the difference between Set and Hermes? They're both ancient deities. They're both spirits. Grim Grizz has managed in a very Peugeotian way to show us all that Set is real. And you say, of course Set is real. I'm not talking to a television set, but I'm looking at a monitor right now. I've got the screen on my phone. I've got the screen in front of me that StreamYard is running. Of course Set is real. And Set has colonized me. And Set and its branding have taken over parts of me. Okay. Has Set possessed me? If you look at the Pentecostals,
Let's not look at the Pentecostals, but we do have loaded over from the Vanderclips channel, where Paul has taken the time and effort to extract the 3 minutes that really changed his life forever, thanks to Grim Grizz. Hopefully the sound works. Son of a... Well, then, since we're going to have to do the whole opening the new tab thing, let's address what's been going on in the Hive Mind chat and stream. Chad is making a big deal about me not paying enough attention to him. So here's what Pastor Paul ran from his show with his branding playing all across the background, which I think you can hear.
And it made me step back and was like, it's weird. Like, why is like there'll be times where just the weirdest times where like one day I would wake up and I'd think, you know, it'd be a good idea is if I like hitchhiked to California and just was like a beach bum drunk, like like that thought just passes in an ear and went out the other. It's like, where did that come from? You know, and like this is I've learned to have and I'm not inflating myself here. I'm just being honest. I've learned to have really great respect for my ability to destroy beautiful things. Like I have to have really good respect for my ability to fall asleep at the wheel and destroy beautiful and freely given things. And
well, you better.
You might not recognize it as Seth, but I want to read you something.
A few months before I was born, my dad met a stranger who was new to our small Tennessee town. From the beginning, Dad was fascinated with this enchanting newcomer.
All right, is this enchanting newcomer audio working this time? I'm not seeing emojis. +4 for when the sound doesn't work and you use the emoji. I can't believe I forgot all that. Good, you can hear it now. All right, well, this
town was born. I don't recognize it as Seth, but I want to read you something. A few months before I was born, my dad met a stranger who was new to our small Tennessee town. From the beginning, Dad was fascinated with this enchanting newcomer and soon invited him to live with our family. The stranger was quickly accepted and was around to welcome me into the world a few months later. As I grew up, I never questioned his place in our family. Mom taught me to love the Word of God. Dad taught me to obey it. But the stranger was our storyteller. He could weave the most fascinating tales, adventures, mysteries, and comedies with daily conversations. He could hold our whole family spellbound for hours each evening. He was like a friend to the whole family. He took Dad, Bill, and me to our first Major League Baseball game. He was always encouraging us to see the movies, and he even made arrangements to introduce us to several movie stars. The stranger was an incessant talker. Dad didn't seem to mind, but sometimes Mom would quietly get up while the rest of us were enthralled with one of his stories of faraway places and go to her room, read her Bible, and pray. I wonder now if she ever prayed that the stranger would leave. You see, my dad ruled our household with certain moral convictions, but the stranger never felt an obligation to honor them. Profanity, for example, was not allowed in our house, not from us, from our friends, or adults. Our longtime visitor, however, used occasional four-letter words that burned my ears and made Dad squirm. To my knowledge, the stranger was never confronted. My dad was a teetotaler who didn't permit alcohol in his home, not even for cooking. But the stranger felt he needed exposure and enlightened us to other ways of life. He offered us beer and other alcoholic beverages often. He made cigarettes look tasty, cigars manly, and pipes distinguished. He talked freely, too freely, about sex. His comments were sometimes blatant, sometimes suggestive, and generally embarrassing. I know now that my early concepts of the man-woman relationship were influenced by the stranger. As I look back, I believe it was the grace of God that the stranger did not influence us more. Time after time, he opposed the values of my parents, yet he was seldom rebuked and never asked to leave. More than 30 years have passed since the stranger moved in with the young family on Morningside Drive. But if I were to walk into my parents' den today, you would still see him over in a corner, waiting for someone to listen to him, talk, and watch him draw his pictures. His name? We always called him Set. Television Set.
Set.
Unfortunately, Paul cut the clip there. The rest is explained later, and we'll go into that soon. But first, since we were speaking of set shaping, and Tayo mentioned this. He said, I told him to remind him that Set could be a 7-headed monster. This is true. I did it during this stream when I was in the Hive Mind chat at about 50 minutes, which I have a timestamp for some reason. So we're going to go see why I have that timestamp, and then I will finish the reference there too.
And Grim Grizz is working on exorcism through it. Jordan Peterson has. I have been. So the truth is, we're doing exorcism all the time. Another video that didn't get made with my rando's calendar blowout was a reworking of my second conversation with Jonathan Peugeot, where we go through angels and demons. Again, Jonathan Peugeot was immanentizing this ancient language. When Grim Grizz talks about Set, he is immanentizing an Egyptian god. We're doing all this immanentizing because this is the reconstruction and deconstruction we are always doing to make sense in the world and to understand the world. And as we make sense of the world and we understand the world, we participate in the world.
All right, that is not when he said the thing that I was going to play this at, but since he's bringing up the Egyptian god part, here's a version of that we will use. Son of a +4 to Neil for the ear emoji. +2 to Cassandra for the silent time again. Oh, gee. All right, I'm just going to do it. Osiris is the representation of society that gets old and willfully blind and or corrupt, much like the one we're experiencing ourselves, is Osiris. Set kills Osiris and takes over, much like the Set kills Osiris and takes over, and his body is scattered all about the thing. ISIS, which is named after the terrorist organization that was going around destroying history, gathers, enrages, and does her thing, and then finally gets a magical phallus because she reassembles Osiris's body and can't find the phallus. So she goes out craving the throbbing phallus of Osiris, cannot find it, and needs a magical one. And that gives birth to Horus, who goes and fights Set and then takes his eye out and sticks it in Osiris to revivify and make him not willfully blind. He's like, you have to see with my eye now. You have to see with the eye of Horus, Osiris, as you run. And that's the Egyptian god and how Set. And it seems like we are under the god Set at the moment, which means we need the eye of Horus to come, and that's what we're trying to build here. Thank you for the ham. All right.
In all our searching, the only thing we've found that makes the emptiness bearable is each other.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
And now to address the thing that I said I would address with Tayo and the set I'm sure you won't be able to hear it. But when addressing Set's early formation of us, when we were didn't know any better, I asked Tayo to remind me about the seven faces, and that's because this masterpiece, The Seven Faces of Dr. Lau, really impacted me in my formation. He's got Medusa and Pan, and I think that all of these seven faces are probably archetypes that could be addressed in one of our fancy pants neo dandy discussions, and that is why I asked you to remind me about that, Tayo.
Ducks eat bread.
They do. They like it.
This is the Grimgris channel and a live stream where we feel virtually not alone together. This is the Beauty, Good, and Truth stream with free will framing. And as I like to deliver on the things in the title and the thumbnail, it's probably going to be a long one. Welcome. Welcome. So, it turns out my coffee cup has been emptied, and that's gonna have to be rectified. And I have a timestamp on this card for the 57-minute mark. So we're gonna play that for you while I remedy the drink situation. I hope you can listen while you get yourself one.
Extremely powerful over the last 500 years. Science exercised science, and I'm going to use science. The difficulty is, let's just say Hephaestus. Vervaeke makes this point. Hephaestus is the god of technology, and it's a god who limps. I love it when John Vervaeke says that. I don't say it as nicely. So he's got his patterns and he's got his holy words, because buzzwords are holy words. He's got his buzzwords down. Buzzwords are holy words because buzzwords are pattern mimetic words. That's why they're holy words. That's why they exercise and they enchant. That's why they're magic words. That's why Grim Grizz talks about defense against the dark arts, because when Grim Grizz is wrestling with the god Set, he's wrestling with a god. Okay? Basically, what modernity does is says, we got this. We got this. We are going to disenchant the world by our exorcisms, and we are going to offer you the life of the age to come here and now. Ooh. Antibiotics, sanitation, refrigeration, washing machines, energy, electricity. All of these things, wow, they're amazing. We can do these things. And now information technology, agency out of electricity and tiny little switches, 25 nanometers, 10 nanometers, 8 nanometers, 6 nanometers. We're going to go smaller and smaller. Quantum computing.
This means that the individual psyche is far from being safely synthesized. On the contrary, it threatens to fragment only too easily under the onslaught of unchecked emotions. While this situation is familiar to us from the studies of anthropologists, it is not so irrelevant to our own advanced civilization as it might seem. We, too, can become dissociated and lose our identity. We can be possessed and altered by moods or become unreasonable and unable to recall important facts about ourselves or others, so that people ask, "What the devil has gotten into you?" We talk about being able to control ourselves, but self-control is a rare and remarkable virtue. All right, I'm exploring these timestamps I've left on this card. We've gotten to 1 minute over here, 103.
It's a function of rich people are happier than poor people. Yeah, sometimes, often. It's better to have more money than less in a world where money is really handy. Yeah, generally so. Having infinite amounts of money, does that solve anything? It solves some things. But then you watch really rich people do really weird things. Just read a biography of Howard Hughes. Amazing story. He could bend starlets. He flew airplanes. He
Turns out I wrote over the 103 with a 105.
I turn to if I'm looking for a particular Bible reference, because Google is faster than Logos, even though I use Logos for other things. This little corner is better than AI because Grim Grizz, Chad, Kale, Christian, Karen, all of the little nodes in this little corner are way smarter. And we're able to work with each other, and we play each other's videos. And which video did they play? Which part of the conversation did they play? And so I am the luckiest of all, because my stuff gets used and I get a chance to have my ideas perfected and improved by the rest of you. That's awesome. And anybody can join in.
Yeah, that's the part. Anybody can join in. I'm going to make it. We're going to make it through this. We're going to do it together. All right, and I do want to note, before I forget to note, that Pastor Paul, as you can see, has begun using the virtually not alone bubble on the Friday live streams, at least, and that's not insignificant. In case you don't know, recognize it, the virtually not alone bubble is a virtually not alone network branding bubble that is and there are very official rules for its usage. The rules for its usage are as follows. Where is mine? There it is. The person using the bubble has to make others feel as though they are virtually not alone. And if they do not, it is on those who do not feel virtually not alone by the person using the bubble to let them know that they can't use the bubble if they're not going to make people feel virtually not alone. It's a crowd-enforced thing. It's not administrated top-down, but now that somebody is using it, aside from Doc Lenny time, we need to monitor and use and protect the integrity of the bubble. We can do it because we're strong like Denimore's Denny. What's the next timestamp? 152:33. We just played that though. Okay, then. All right, we've made it through that part of the show, but still we have to do the beauty, good, and truth and free will framing part, which was all triggered by the T-Grog performance shown in today's homeroom and not the Friday About You, Grim. If you make folks feel virtually isolated, you have to stop using the bubble, Kale. That's kind of the point. Everybody cares about you and Chad Weeks. That's why I run your faces on my brandings, like this one.
Ducks eat bread.
They do. They like it.
I don't. The dynamic between me and Chad is a subplot that runs through for people watching the TLC like they would Friends back in the day, who are not yet in the. They're participating from the safety of anonymity and lurkerdom. Now, let's see. Now, this T-Grog guy makes his appearance. Where is it at? Let's see where he starts talking.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Yeah. Nice discussion. Very nice. I was a Baptist.
Neil, there's somebody throwing ham at me, and you're trying to figure. I mean, dig the deep channel kayfabe storyline. Yes. Stay tuned.
Just Calvinist for a long time, but I find this stuff interesting because it's I like people talking in a civil manner, and that's about stuff, and it's cool. I used to be a science teacher though, so in mathematics, so I like clarity.
Yeah.
I live in Mormon land.
Oh, okay.
And everybody's into feeling spiritual and visions and all this crazy shit. And I see it as a con.
Yeah.
It's a con. So
yeah.
That's where I'm coming from. The problem I have with this, I went to a couple estuary meetings in College Station.
Right. Yeah.
It opens the door to a lot of superstitious. It's like blow the doors off reality and let's just have all these crazy
cult like delusional.
Well, the problem is if you're
that T-Grog I would like to address, and that is the notion and summation behind today's title of the stream, Free Will Framing. The beauty, good, and truth thumbnail is a little bit different and a little bit later, but this it's all a con. This references back. This is references back to power. Oh, I can't see you for a second. This references back to power. It's like the game between Varys and the little fella. The little fella. He says, "Let me tell you a riddle, or let me put this thought experiment before you." There's a guy in the room with a sword. He's got the sword. This guy, and across the table from him are the king and the priest, and I don't know, his boss. And all three on the table tell the man with the sword, kill the other two. All three of them say, kill these two. Like that. Then where is the power in that? The power is in whatever the man with the sword believes. If he's more loyal to his church or his king or his boss, then the other two are in severe trouble. And that is the free will framing, it seems as though you can go through life as an atheist and make it to your death. And it seems like you can go through life as a Christian and make it to your death. And it seems that there is a free will framing involved. This is what we're determining. This is the what we wrestle with, the attitude, altitude, and or alignment, attitude, and orientation with which we proceed through the world. And as you mentioned in your experience, you were a Baptist. You've had that framing, and then you've had the agnostic framing, and this is the free will framing, and that's that. Let's play some more and maybe branding.
If you read the history of Christianity or the history of the Middle Ages or the history of the ancient world, people had all sorts of crazy ass, well, let's sacrifice our children to Baal.
Kill the witches.
Make Baal happy. Well, Baal doesn't exist. So
and neither does Santa Claus. But if they exist in the mind of the person with the sword, then isn't that existence enough? No, now branding. What? Yes. Which one? And now, to finally get to the beauty, good, and truth portion of the stream, let me go to where it was inspired. This stream, and since it's not pulled up, we have to do it this way. This way, we go to the show transcript, and then Control F, and then Truth, and then see where we find it from the back. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, that's terrible. What are you doing? You're failing. This is you failing. This is you. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. Still no. But we'll do this one. No, it's not that far.
The truth, trying to care for people, like all this stuff's very good.
Yeah.
Just because they did it that way doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So welcome
again to.
I think the thing that the projects on the search for truth and why this space can sometimes feel Gnostic or mystical and woo-woo, as the millennials say, is because the search for truth is a very kind of concrete idea. It appears like a very concrete idea, this thing outside of you. Science will reveal this. Religion will reveal this. Is this true? All of these arguments sound. Can I get everything to fit? When I think what this space is, or even in the journey into therapy or whatever, is a search for an internal truth, and that's and this has been hit on in this argument already today. Do you believe? Can you sign on to this, confession of faith at your church? Check the boxes like cart before the horse. When am I dealing with myself truthfully on it? Am I looking at myself truthfully? That has way more impact on your life than the literal nature of scripture or the literal or if the scientific proofs of X, Y, and Z. Those things will not have very much impact in your life versus if you can be honest with yourself about who you are.
This is the truth, and this is important, and you have to know the truth. It's very important. So I would say the Bible constantly, read church history, but I was reading evangelicalism, a lot of evangelical stuff, evangelical.
All right, damn it. The thing is, there's the beauty, good, and truth part. And there was this part where he's like, you have to know the truth so you can do good. And it occurred to me that we approach the truth, good, and beauty backwards. And that's why it says beauty, good, and truth on this particular thumbnail. We'll get into the next part. But the beauty, good, and truth part is because my basis for any notion that there is good in this existence comes from my capacity to experience beauty. And I don't mean like sunset beauty, like that the way that harmonious, peaceful, like letting the beauty wash over you experience of beauty is what leads me to know there's good and to seek the truth. And it seems to me we're always saying that truth, good, and beauty, and maybe we're doing that backwards. Maybe we're doing that backwards. The rainbow fun stuff. The rainbow fun stuff. Because of Paul's coverage on the Q&A of me, I got all this stuff on the board here. It was of the notion of, you should do one decent explainer of such. And a big part of that is the chakra bullshit. The dice are based on it. There's this whole thing in my mind, and it's a rainbow. But that's gonna wait for another episode. That's gonna wait. We hit the words on the thumbnail at least. Wow, it's been an honor and a pleasure to do this stream with you. Yes, the rainbow prism thing. You wrote it. Look, there's this guy, this Machu Picchu guy that was talked about at the summit but wasn't there, and he talks about this thing called the rainbow cult. And I really want to know what the rest of the corner thinks he means when he says this rainbow cult, because I have a notion, but and the notes I wrote that managed to make it into the symbolic world book is Bucky the Rainbow Cult. Bucky the Rainbow Cult. And Bucky is a reference to Buckminster Fuller, who says you don't fight an existing system by fighting the system, you render it obsolete. And so if we take over the rainbow, if we take the rainbow back, so Buckminstering it is rendering it obsolete. And then it says rainbows are an arcing prism, defining the hue man. And that's all about how the white light we see is broken into the rainbow spectrum. And that is what defines our reality as through the lens of being a human, is the hue, man. It's from red to purple. Now we know, thanks to our ability to make fancy instruments, that there's more that's outside of our spectrum, the infrared and the ultraviolet. And we know from our science massacring animals and stuff that there are certain entities, I think perhaps the manatee, that sees an entirely different spectrum of colors, or a broader spectrum of colors. And thus, that prism and the hue man and take back the rainbow and the chakra, it's all, I was going to go into that, but man, let's just look at the AI art and say, yeah, that's the arc there, the arc of the hue, and that's too much. That's too much for this one. But there's a teaser. There's the condensed, crushed version, and then we'll try and explicate it out so I can make sense to people and not just be, I don't like The dude fed it to the AI, and the AI called it nonsense. So at least we're speaking in code, right? Oh man. Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all. But that's been today's featuring hot new brandings from three of our finest. A hive mind that's off the rails, and just one of the things that's broken into the chakra system is love, the heart, from part of the center of our rainbow, perhaps to the G in the Roy G Biv. The green represents of the heart of the thriving of life and plant life, and I think that by coming together like this, we can spread a little of that, at least, and that's perhaps enough for today. Goodbye, everybody. A nice ham.